All right, episode 32?
So 32, sir.
32. All right. All right, guys, welcome in. Episode 32 of Coffee and Chel. I am No Sleeves, joined by my co-host, as always, Keso. And start how we always do, Keso. Tell me about your weekend, or I guess your week now. We're recording this.
Yeah.
We're trying to catch up here.
We've been trying to catch up. We've been doing these on like Wednesday and Thursday. It's been working out better, dude. And honestly, a lot of yard work recently. I'm
Yeah, I
enjoying
saw.
this warm weather, man. Like I feel like during that NHL season, we act like we play like a real NHL season, like the professionals. But during like
Yeah.
the streaming, like the consistent streaming time for me and stuff, I feel like now my mental health is like really good. Not to sound like lame or whatever, but I started waking up at 6:30 every day for the last 2 days. I'm starting it. And part of that preparation is the baby's coming, so I want to be able to wake up like a real adult.
Hey, let's go. What was your normal
Yeah,
time?
like dude, 8 o'clock, and then I would immediately go to my desk to start work.
Yep. It's
And
the home work from home issues that you usually just do that. Yep.
yeah, so now it's like I wake up, I'll put Bella outside, Henry will go outside like 30 minutes later. I'll have some water, coffee. I'll log on to my work computer. I'll look to see if there's anything on there, and then I'll step away again for a little bit. My wife leaves, and then I could start work. I play a little bit of MLB sometimes at like 7 as well. And I just got Rizzo, so I'm really excited about that.
You just got
that was
Rizzo.
Dude, I did.
Wow.
I grinded for that.
Okay. All right. We can talk about that for sure. But yeah, I
then,
saw the picture. Go ahead.
What's that? What
I
were you
saw a
gonna say?
picture of Henry just prowling in the. That's a great picture.
Dude, that was an amazing picture. He did look like a predator, like he was waiting in the wild to pounce on somebody. But other than that stuff, watching the Penguins, very, very upset after last night.
Yeah, kind of a mess, eh? I kind of had a feeling they wouldn't close it out, but that series is so weird, man.
I think they would have closed it out had Crosby not gone down with 6 minutes left in the second. They were up 2-0 at that point. All the momentum. He leaves.
Has there been word on what's happening with him?
No, because
That's scary.
So I know they said that he's going to be evaluated in Pittsburgh, right? I'm hoping it's like they took him out precautionary reasons, head injury. They evaluated him for a concussion. Maybe he doesn't have one. Maybe they're evaluating him again. I don't know what goes into it. I'm not a doctor for the NHL. I'm just hoping it's not worst case scenario and he's back either next game or game 7 if there is one.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And not to mention, like, they're on their third goalie, like Louis Domingue, like that. I've been pretty down on the Rangers the whole season just because, like, the Hart Trophy nomination just came out, and Shesterkin was one of them. Anytime a goaltender is a Hart Trophy.
And that makes sense, yeah.
I think that he should be a Hart nominee for sure. I think the Rangers are a lot like the Kings, man. They're just early. They're just like, you know what I mean? Like, they will be. They have a lot of great young players, and I think that in, like, 2 years, they'll probably maybe win or run the East, but I just think that they're early this year. Okay. But that series has been fun. Man, the playoffs have been super weird because every series is close, but every game is like a blowout.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. I haven't watched too much other ones, just like highlights here and there. You know,
Toronto Tampa has been really fun. Like
I know I'm gonna have to watch that tonight.
I really want Toronto to win. I think it's time. I think it's good for the sport. I think that the sport of hockey is better with Toronto going further because every round in the NHL playoffs, only in the NHL playoffs, does it get less interesting. And I think that's it's weird. We talked about this prior in another episode, but like it gets less interesting because once your team's out, the teams that are playing, if it's not like end to end or like something insane's happening, it's like they're playing much slower because they're just tired. Like these guys have gone through like the first round is like they're the most energized they're going to be in the playoffs. Like there's crazy upsets, you know? So I really think that it would do the NHL really, really good if the Leafs can go a little bit further. And it's time. Like the Lightning, if the Lightning were to win again, I guess that'd be cool because I like seeing dynasties. But it's like enough. I'm not big on it unless it actually happens. Like
And I'm not big on it unless it's like my team.
Yeah,
like
that's true.
If the Penguins did 3 in a row, like I'd be like, oh, that's awesome. They got their 2 in a row. So that was great. If the Lightning do that, like they're up there with like all-time teams.
All-time
to
for
do
sure.
that, to do that in today's NHL, a three-peat is just like ridiculous, and it's probably not going to happen. Right? They're down 3-2.
Yeah.
Hopefully we see a game 7.
It is.
I hope
it
know,
goes 7.
But dude, they came back last game.
I could not, dude. And the way they came back,
that.
Dude, the way they came back, it was all 4 of the big guys. Like it
Mhm.
wasn't they needed some random shorthanded goal from like David Camp or something. It was like Tavares, Nylander, Morgan Riley, Marner, Matthews. Like it was the way that it happened. It just seemed like they broke free of all like the shackles that they had just mentally put on
Yeah.
themselves. So the Oilers is the one that's worse because I
What's
obviously
going on there? Because those games are always like late. You're always streaming, so I'm assuming you're watching these games. I
yeah
don't get
like
to watch the Oilers and Kings.
I've done pretty well gambling on the playoffs. Not gonna lie, bet responsibly.
Mhm.
And the Oilers have cost me because it's my bias, but like as a realistic hockey fan, the Kings roster is one of the worst in the playoffs, and
Yeah.
they don't even have Doughty. Like they will the
Oh,
light.
he's not playing. That's how like out of tune I am with
Yeah,
that
it's like
series.
the
Okay.
Kings. The Kings are like what the Avalanche were. Like not even the Avalanche. I'm trying to think of a good comp. Like they have they have the best prospect pool in the league, and in a couple years, much like the Rangers, they are probably going to lead the conference because of how good their prospect pool is and the way that they've drafted it so well. But good lord, man, this Oiler, if the Oilers lose to this Kings team, this is like I feel awful for Oilers fans because it's like the Angels in the MLB. You need to see the best player in the world. Like it just it's same thing with the
Yeah.
Leafs moving on. Like it adds it adds depth and intrigue from people that are just casual fans of, or like maybe they're not fans, to see the best player in the world. It's just frustrating because the Kings, no matter who they play in the next round, it's like a Montreal situation last year where like it's just the if it happens, it's one of the most insane, like like because if the Kings made the Cup final, they would just get run over by whoever was in the West. Like same thing with Montreal, right? So like I
Yeah,
just
and
hope that
I know
Edmonton
there were a
wins.
lot of Montreal fans excited last year. I hated it
Yeah,
just
it's the
because it was
worst
like
ever,
this
man.
team's not good.
Yeah,
Like their goalie's playing
and there's
amazing. I
no
don't want to watch
debating
this
them
team.
that their team isn't good. Like there
Yeah,
was no debating it.
and I saw like with maybe it was Game 5 between the Kings and the Oilers. I saw like a few like amazing plays from McDavid.
Yep,
Draisaitl scored like twice, right? But
yep.
they still lost.
Mike Smith is
And
just he has costed them 2 games, and it is just like so. I want to bring this up. McDavid in his post game interview, like they ask him about what his feelings on the game, and he like just so distraught and disappointed. Looks up and he's like, "Man, you score 4 in a playoff game. You need to win that game."
yeah,
And that was it. Like, dude, like those are knives, bro. Those are knives, bro. It's like Mike Smith, figure your shit out. Like,
dude,
uh,
Mike Smith for years now. He's 40, right? Like, isn't he
yep.
40 years
And he
old?
got signed to a 2-year contract.
Yeah, so he is either the best goalie in the world or
Yeah,
just complete dog shit.
yeah, man. He's a great hut goalie.
He is, right? 6'4".
It's it, man. It's it. All right. So on today's episode, guys, we're going to talk about actually 2 esports events at GWC. There's some news with that, as well as the IHF event that is now back. And I think that everyone needs to pay attention to that because it's going to be one of the more fun events that you're going to see in NHL esports. Also, our top five cartoons when we were kids. So stay tuned for that because the top 5 seems to be like one of our like most like requested things, and I think that it's the most fun I have.
It is. It's
Um,
the best part of the podcast.
it
That's
is
why we have to
great. It
save it for
is
the last
great
part.
because we
Yeah.
just talk about our favorite stuff. Like that. That's
Yeah.
it. All right, so let's talk about GWC. Obviously, you're eliminated. It was announced finally that I will officially be the play-by-play voice of the GWC, which is pretty big for me. Obviously, 3.5 years ago, that was the goal of mine in 2019, and I can't believe that it actually happened. Not gonna lie.
Yeah,
So that'll be fun.
that was exciting.
I replace Arda, which sucks for me because Arda's the goat. But yeah, I'm really excited. So I will be the play-by-play voice for every online game or every online stream where they play online. So this Saturday, for example, is the
Mhm.
first one. The Xbox side of things, the final 4 will whittle down to, or sorry, the final 4 on each console, Xbox and Xbox Series X, will whittle down to the final 4 total. So there'll be 2 on each console, and then PlayStation will be next weekend. But I also get to go to the Netherlands for the live European finals. So I get to go to Amsterdam. So that's kind of fun.
Dude, I've been to Amsterdam.
Is it sick?
Amazing. Dude, okay, so well, maybe we talk about this another
No, no,
time.
no.
But
Go ahead. Go
no,
ahead.
dude. So my wife and I, whenever we got engaged,
Yeah.
we did a European vacation, right?
Okay.
So we went to London for a day or two,
Okay.
took the train to Paris for 5 or 6 days. That's where we got engaged.
Oh yeah, I remember this actually.
Got down on the knee, right?
Yep.
The Eiffel Towers in the
Ah,
background.
dude.
And then that was amazing. Just like 5 or 6 days there. Then we went to Harlem, which is about 20 minutes away from Amsterdam by
Hmm.
train. And we stayed there for 2 days. And Amsterdam's crazy. I mean, it's probably more fun if you're like 21 and you're like into
Yeah.
doing all the shit that's there, right?
Yeah.
But like Harlem, kind of a little bit more quiet. Amazing architecture. City looks I guess the town looks amazing. Amsterdam looks cool.
I'm excited. I've never been to Europe.
Dude, yeah, dude, you're gonna have a lot of fun.
That's
I'm
exciting.
jealous now. I didn't realize it was there. I'm kind
Yep.
of jealous.
And then yeah, so I'll be doing that. It's early June, like it's coming up soon.
No,
Um
Grizz and who was the other person? Grizz go?
Carlin was yeah, she was joining me. They just informed me that Grizz will be joining me as well. He wasn't originally supposed to come, but he'll be joining us. Yeah, so but it'll be me and Carlin.
Grizz is gonna be hitting up that red light district, huh? I'm just
And then yeah, and then we have the live finals in Montreal in July. That'll be at the entry draft. I know the NHL um said that there's some cool stuff going on for that I get to be a part of with for the draft and some NHLers. So I'm really excited for that opportunity. Um, but yeah, it feels good. It feels like this year definitely doesn't have the same hype, you know.
yeah.
So going from Arda and Nasher to me and Grizz, obviously not the same panache, but when it comes to like the actual event, we're both really knowledgeable about it, and I think it's going to be like I think it'll add a different kind of broadcast. But
I
it
think
is,
the people that watch it from the competitive side will probably enjoy it a little bit more
I
because you
think
guys have.
so.
I think not that like Arda and Nash are
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah,
greatest of all time at
yeah,
what they do, right? For
yeah,
this specific thing.
yeah,
But whenever you did it last year, I enjoyed listening to you because it was like you know the players really well
yeah.
and you know the game compared to them.
Yeah. No,
But yeah,
I'm
that's fine.
excited for that aspect for sure. But yeah, so GWC's just officially starting off for me, like kicking off for me now. So basically my weekends are chalked for the next few. But I also got reached out to by the IIHF because in 2020 it was like my first ever broadcast, and my man Arda hooked me up with it because he wasn't able to do it, and I remember it's a lot. So essentially, what the event is, they are in 2020. It's gonna mimic that quite a bit. There'll be 22 countries. They will each have a qualifier for NHL. They will run their own qualifier for each country. The top two players, I believe it's one on Xbox, one on PlayStation. It might be just PlayStation. I don't remember, so don't take me. There's a registration. It'll be open. You can check out my Twitter. It's all there, or IHF Twitter. And you'll whittle down to two players. And you'll have two players from the US, Sweden, Finland, all of that, the ones that win the qualifiers. And then they will play each other in a group stage and then a quarterfinal, semifinal, final to win the IHF championship. Obviously, ping is a disaster, but I'm not going to lie, it wasn't as bad as I thought as a viewing experience. Playing it is going to be tough,
Yeah.
but so when you play in high ping, it's not like packet loss where you're seeing freezing. It's just so heavy and
Mhm.
delayed, right? But as a viewer, you can't really see that, right? And there's no way around it, right? Like there's no way around it. So you go into this tournament knowing that at some point, if you're North American specifically, you're gonna have to play on peer to peer, and it's gonna be real, real tough. It is versus, not Hockey Ultimate Team, which is another cool thing that it's finally we're moving away from that aspect. And the really cool part about it is it's aggregate scoring. So, at least from my understanding, if it mimics 2020, so like Canada and the US play, let's say, it'll be one of the players from Canada will play one of the players from the US, and they will play, and the aggregates, the score, whatever it is, let's say US wins 5-2. That means that the second matchup, that the Canadian team has to win by at least 3. So it's a combined score, which I thought is awesome for an event in esports. I love that. And it's going to be really cool. So from my understanding, there's 4 groups, 22 teams, top 2 from each of the group stage will move on to the final 8. And the one thing I brought up today in the meeting actually was that in the first year of it, US and Canada played really early, and I think it was on purpose because of like ping and timing. I floated the idea. I'm like, I would love it if you guys separated Finland, Sweden, US, and Canada. so that
Yeah.
those four each have a group, because those four are clearly the best four nations of NHL gaming. No offense to all the European teams, because I think there's actually going to be some surprising ones. I remember the one really cool aspect of the event was some of the European nations that had really good hut players that I didn't know because I don't get to watch them. So like Denmark had one. I'm drawing a blank now. But there's a player that plays hut all the time. He's in my chat and he was one of my longest followers and could drive me nuts. And I want to say it's Vikes, but it's definitely not Vikes. And then there was another one from Germany, has a few really good players. You've got the Czech Republic. Lady Brunette won Slovakia, and
I
Slovakia
remember
actually
that
won
one.
that
Yeah.
first round. Like it was just really cool. So it's a really fun event. Yeah, and they're bringing me back on for it. So that'll be in June, or that'll be in July. So like as the GWC is ending, this will just start for me. So it'll be busy a couple of times, a couple of weekends for months for esports, I guess. But I'm excited because then after that is my off season. Essentially, it's like
Yeah.
NHL is toast. Any sports game is, just for the record. When it comes down to the last 3 months of the game, MLB I've been really liking though. So you've been playing it more or what?
Yeah, dude, and I love it. And I haven't even been playing online. I've just been
Isn't
doing
that
like
crazy? Isn't that crazy? The
it,
offline experience is fun.
yeah, it is. And it's fun because it's like there's that constant progression,
Yeah.
right? And I know it's just like they're training my brain to enjoy the offline mode. But even then, like I enjoy trying out new hitters, just practicing random things. So like the April awards, like all
That's a
those goals
grind.
that you have to get, it's a grind, right? But like it makes you use new players
That
that you
Taylor Ward
typically.
card, bro, dude, he was
That's the one.
mashing for me. And he plays like
That's
a
the last one I needed, and I hit like whatever, and I got the 500 points with him, and that allowed me to get Rizzo.
let's go, dude. Let's go. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've loved that. I think that something that's been critical in MLB is that the rewards have been kind of underwhelming compared to prior years. It looks like this year is a transition year for them, and they're really trying to lock down the power creep. And obviously the first year it's going to be tough and annoying because, like we're used to
it's just a
like
drastic change
high
for them,
90s.
right?
Yeah, like I think the first
Yeah,
player of the month was Buxton last year, and he was a 96. Rizzo's a
yeah.
91, and he's a first baseman. So a lot of people were kind of hounding on that because there's a lot of first basemen, including Carlos Delgado. Like that was sick getting Carlos Delgado as a card released. But no, it's been good. I've played like 800 hours of it. I'm getting to the
Yeah.
point where I did a Hutch Hamster run this weekend.
Oh wow. No,
Yeah.
we're already back to NHL, huh?
Yeah, well, dude, the absence makes the heart grow fonder. I did miss it. I actually wanted to I take away, like, if I could not look at the mode and just like load up the game and immediately go into like a hut game, I think I'd enjoy it more because it pisses me off how little there is to do. So like
Yeah.
if I just miss playing the game. And I think a lot of people when it comes to NHL that are so hardcore with it, like if you were to not play it for a little while, you'll get it, man. I guarantee
No,
you.
dude, I saw this clip somebody posted on like Reddit, and they had like come back from like a 3-goal lead with like a minute left, and I was like, hey, that looks kind of fun.
Yeah.
Playing the game, and then I was thinking like, oh, do I really want to load in the hut champs? Do I really want to play that? So I'll give it a bit. IIHF is coming up, right?
Yep.
I'll play some versus games for that.
Yep.
And that'll be my foray back into NHL, maybe, unless
Man.
I just break down before then.
Maybe, huh? Maybe.
Yeah.
All right, what else we got to talk about here?
Dude, you know what I like about MLB?
What?
These random low-rated players that are just fun to use. Like I was using Brandon Lau,
Okay.
and dude, he was sick. He was
Okay,
really
isn't
good.
that cool?
He was only an 80. But like I was just hitting home runs with him.
Jordan
Like
Alvarez gold card. Dude,
what
I hit a home
what is he?
I hit home run. He's a right or left fielder. He
Okay.
hits like the most comical home runs for me where my PCI is not even close. And
Okay.
it's like if he gets it within like the foul tip zone, so like the outer PCI portion, it's like a home run. I don't know what it is. I wish like because I'm like such a like gotta have the best cards. It like drives me nuts that I've got this gold player that like isn't like I just love, man. He is so good, and it's crazy that there's so many swings that are just like that we don't have that in NHL.
Yeah.
Play because everyone asks me like, does he play? Does he play better? The only differentiating factor in NHL when it comes to players is are they as fast as their speed indicates? Like so, Yager, for example, Kessler, that
Yeah.
car was broken. There's a few that like just cannot get a breakaway, like cannot break away from other players, even though they have high speed. And the other thing is, do they get knocked off the puck easily? Like, cause like I always use Pedersen as an example. I think he's 6'2", right? But he's built like a, I don't know. He's like 180 pounds, 170 pounds,
Yeah,
right?
he's less than that. I think he's like 170,
Yeah,
like
and he
you
gets
said. Yeah.
knocked out the puck so easily because everyone just focuses on height, but that isn't the whole thing, right? So, but other than that, man, they all play the exact same. Like they play very
Yep.
similar, right?
Yeah.
And in MLB, man, the swings are so different. Like there's some swings that seems that it might be slower that help out certain players that are always early. And then there's other ones where players can't use those swings, like they just suck, right? And I think
Mhm.
that's a really interesting part of MLB for sure.
I just like how I don't know a lot about baseball, but there are players I remember. So
Hmm.
I got lucky and I think I got lucky. I don't know like the value and
Yep.
stuff on a lot of cards, but I pulled that Gary Sheffield from like a headliners pack.
He's not expensive anymore, but like that was a
He
pretty
isn't,
sick
yeah.
card. Like that's a good pull.
Yeah, and he's amazing against lefties, I think,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
But dude, his stance, exact thing I remember from like 15
It's
years
cool,
ago
huh?
watching baseball. It looks just like it.
It's cool.
Yeah, dude, it's a good game.
I think
Like
they
it's fun.
announced, dude. They announced their summer circuit as I get in the lean for
I
people
saw
watching.
that $25,000
Dude, isn't
tournament.
that wild? They're so far behind in esports. It's
Yeah, it is.
crazy. They don't have a weekend league, which I'm stunned they
Mhm.
didn't add this year. I really thought they were going to because they're like hip to what the community wants.
Yeah, and
Whether
so
they
like what
implement
do
or
we
not, they at
even
least address it.
what do like the top comp players even stream then? Is it like ranked seasons and
Ranked
then like
seasons, a lot, BR runs, things like that. That's it. And
oh,
then
I
this,
went flawless for the 50th time,
yeah,
right? Like that's
exactly,
that's
yeah.
it.
But ranked is really it. So getting like top 50 in the world is like a huge accomplishment. Um,
Yeah.
but
Well, that for this game, right? Because there's millions of people to play it.
100%, yeah. Like there's over like last year, I think there was 6 million people that played MLB 21, which is
Mhm.
just absurd.
Yeah.
But yeah, like esports wise, it's just not nearly the same level. So like that's it's glad to see. I reached out to see, I put the feeler out there, hoping the Twitter check mark maybe it works to see if I
For
could get
what?
broadcast for that
Oh, for that
for
whatever
the
that
summer
25K
circuit. Yeah,
one. Yeah, dude, that'd be sick.
I would love that, man. I would love that.
Yeah.
So, still trying to get in the MLB community as much as I can. Still making videos. It's a tough grind. I think that I forget that it took me 5 years to get to the level I'm at in NHL. It's gonna take that with MLB, regardless of my starting point, right?
Maybe 3.
Maybe
Maybe
three.
3.
Yeah, it'll be
Because you have
less.
that experience,
Exactly, and
right?
I do
Like
have
and
a
you know what to do.
yeah, exactly right. And I'm starting with a decent like a good following from NHL. So because a lot of people
Yeah.
play at MLB that play NHL. So I played my first baseball game in real life last night.
Oh, okay. How'd that go?
Paused the subathon. I thought about bringing them, but I was like, I think we need a time apart.
Yeah,
And
and you don't want to embarrass yourself if it's your first game, right?
okay,
All we need
that
is like
too.
a GIF or like a meme of you out
Imagine,
there
bro.
just
That's it. It's over. But no, it was good to like. First of all, I drove to the game an hour early, and I just sat in my truck. The sun was going down. I was at the diamonds that I play at are like beautiful. It's out in Niagara on the Lake, which is like famous for like wine country. Niagara
yeah.
is famous for like wine. So it's in the middle of there. We play, and it is just so. I just sat there. And I'm like, man, I missed this. You know. And we had a couple new players on the team. Our team last year, so this is my 10th year in the league with this team, and it's a lot of my best friends, like my close friends. My best friend Kyle's on the team, and then my other buddy, my extremely good friend Jesse, like another one of my best friends. We've all been together, and we've been to each other's weddings or in each other's wedding parties, and like so, like it's been fun. But last year we went 1-15.
Oh god.
And me and Kyle are very competitive. And last year, like I'm not a great hitter. Basically a slap hitter in slow pitch. I literally just hit to first base and like I hit it over the first baseman's head. I bat righty and I just clip it into right field, so opposite field, and I'll either leg out a double or take my single, and that's it. Shortstop, I play very good. So me and Kyle would get really frustrated. Like we'd play the first 5 innings, it'd be close, we'd get blown out, and then we just drink on the bench. Like we would just be so rattled by it. So this year that we brought one of the teams folded, better teams folded, and we brought in like some really good players. And last night was our first like game at it, dude. I knew that my physical health from the subathon has taken its toll. Like I just haven't moved, right? So and I haven't eaten well, and I've definitely gained. I'm probably the most I've ever weighed. Potentially, it might. So I knew it was gonna be rough, dude. It felt like I was running and moving with like a 40-pound heavy bag.
Oh, I bet.
It was bad. However, I went 3 for 3, made a couple of great plays at shortstop, didn't really miss a beat, but my God, dude, it was bad. Then my buddy Kyle, my
You
best
got
friend,
like the Jason Giambi build, at the
it
end of
was
the at the end
bad,
of his
bro.
career.
It was bad, but I'm excited to go. It made me realize how excited I was for like the gym. And I had
Yeah.
been missing that since I had gone like psychotic with it in 2018, 2019. So I'm really excited for that. And Skyla seems like she's never been a gym goer. She's just always naturally skinny and small, which is just the most frustrating thing in the world. But she's been like eagerly talking about it and whatnot. So I'm excited for that, right?
Yeah.
But I am so sore today. It feels like I did a full leg body workout, like 4 heavy sets of bench press. Like I am. It is alarming that just baseball took this much out of me. So
Yeah.
yeah, but it is what it is. And
I
what?
I was about to say I felt the same way. Was it
I
Sunday?
mean, you're mowing the lawn and
Mother's
all
Day.
that stuff.
Yeah, dude. So like I did that, right?
Yeah,
Weed whacked. Did mulching.
I'm a big
I had
mulch
to
guy. I
carry.
like it. It looks so clean.
Yeah, so like carrying like the 20 bags, but I
Yep.
was out there for like 5 hours, like
Yeah.
moving stuff, doing whatever. The next day I was just like sore. And I know the like month prior, I had like my semester was wrapping up,
Yep.
GWC and stuff, like work. So like there's just a lot of sitting. So
Yep.
like I'm trying to make it a thing where every day after work, like 4:30, like I
Yep.
go outside and do something. So like yesterday weed whacked again, the day before was something else.
That's good.
So because like I feel so much better at night too, like
Yeah.
mentally, whenever I'm just like outside doing something. So I have to add it into my schedule. And this is like the most obvious. Like there's like probably like a dude like listening to this or like watching this right now. It's like, yeah, no shit. Like don't be a fat ass, get outside. But like it's hard whenever you have like obligations and stuff that require you to be at your desk.
I think like one of the things the subathon has done is like, first of all, this is an excessive amount of streaming. To put this in perspective, I'm about to pass, or I already have passed. I'm about to hit like 70% of my entire time streamed all of last year
Yeah.
in this 6 weeks. And again, I'm blessed and I will keep it going as long as the boys will have me on stream. I love that. But I don't think I'll be streaming weekends until
Yeah,
NHL
it's a
comes
good
up. I
idea.
think that I want to really focus. My YouTube channel is taking a hit because I just don't have the effort or interest in making videos because I'm like, like that's work and I'm just like streaming all the time. So it's just like, so that's been tough, but I will definitely take the weekends off. And what's crazy is that they've always been worse for views, no matter what. Like for everyone in the NHL directory, I don't know why. I think I think people just don't realize how much older the NHL directory skews on Twitch
Mhm.
specifically. But my goodness, it's you know,
Yeah.
it's been pretty crazy with it, and but I won't be streaming weekends. And something I'm going to take definitely into account going forward is I think I'm gonna take the first 4 hours of my day, like or an excessive amount of time, like if I wake up at 7 with Skyla until like 11 or noon even. I'm legitimately just going to focus on health. Like I'm going to go to the gym for a long time with no time limit or rush that I need to be home to go and do this, go and do stuff and whatnot. Go and do an hour of cardio. And I don't mean running, I mean walking, take my dog for a walk, go rollerblade. I haven't rollerbladed in so long, dude.
Well, that sounds fun. I haven't done that since I was like 15.
Dude, when I was in high school, what I would do every night is in the summer, like in the warm months, obviously, is I'd strap my rollerblades, I'd grab a hockey ball and a stick and my gloves, and I would go to my high school because it was very close. And what I would do is there was the parking lot in there. It had a row of parking spots, and it was like just two, right? So like one and one in the middle of the parking lot, and then obviously parking spots around the edge, but down this middle. And I used it as a slalom, and I would try and time myself to see how fast I could skate going in and out of each parking spot all the way down. And it was just I would do it for hours, bro.
Yeah.
I just loved it, and I don't know if it's because of Nasher when I was talking to him, and obviously he like blades a ton, and it just made me miss it. So I'm gonna go pick up a nice pair of rollerblades, and definitely going to spend the first 4 hours of my day just. I'm excited to lose the weight, and like
Mhm.
not in like a now's the time I'm gonna get healthy, right? Like I've done it before, so I like that's the one thing like I take like I'm happy about, or at least I know, because I know what it takes to go through and lose. Like, I lost over 60 pounds. So, like, I know what it takes to go through and lose it again. The work required is insane, but, like, I know the steps, and this is the first time I've been fired up to, like, do it again, on, like, just a life, and I just want to be healthy. Like, maybe it's because I'm
Yeah.
older. Getting COVID sucked.
I mean, I think it's that and sitting down for over a month
That's
doing a
too, man.
stream.
I will be
Yeah.
going back to the chiropractor, like,
Yeah.
because I can feel it when I took like 20 minutes to have dinner with Skylar the other night, and I just stood up. I didn't sit at our table or our island. I just stood, and it was painful to stand. And I guarantee you, a lot of people listening or gamers that play a lot or work from home, like if you were to stand straight, I'm saying like pretend you're at a party, like it is not, you will get uncomfortable because your back is not used to just being, as you watch me sit, I'm like slouched way down, like.
Dude, I always feel that way at any, like, not after 20 minutes, but like if you're at an event where it's like you have to stand for 2 hours, and I'm like, geez, like, how do people do this?
It's wild, dude.
Just like
Like, I remember
stand, like,
working retail in high school, and I'm like, dude, I
I
used
was
to
just about to say that for
8
those
hours a
retail
day.
workers. Yeah.
Like, good God, man, how do you do that? Like, I couldn't imagine that now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Dude, so Tuesday night, I
Okay.
started my summer semester. I have to take 2 classes.
Dude, you were just
I'm
always in school. I feel like you were someone who's just one of those guys that's just never not in school.
I know that's what it's been the last 3 years. So it's a 4-year program. So I'll graduate in May. But in order to graduate in May, I had to take 2 summer classes. So I have a business law class,
Okay.
and I have business to business, right? And
B2B.
B2B, right? Dude, these people love hearing themselves talk.
Oh, bro, with all the jargon.
And it's like, you know the type of person I am. I like joke, but like you probably can't tell I'm joking.
It's very subtle and very dry, but
So
it's there, yeah.
Yeah, the business law class. They were talking about executive orders and how it impacts certain things.
Okay.
And the professor's like, a president might feel the need to do this, or they might want to do this. So I type in our Zoom chat, I'm like, he needs to cancel student loans. That's what he needs to do. And like nobody laughed. Nobody like even responded to me. I'm like, I probably sound like one of those like insane like political people, and I'm not. And then the business to business class, I tried to fake it last night. So we went around introducing ourselves.
Okay.
Like we had to say like our name, what we do, and why we took the class, right?
Yeah.
So like I go and I'm like, I'm a senior financial analyst. I work for a company that does cybersecurity for the Department of Defense. And then I'm like,
nice flex.
Yeah. So it's like, I was like, even though I work in finance, in my field, I feel like numbers are the least important thing. I've always tended to take more marketing classes because I feel like those skills directly translate to influencing decisions and communication. And I was like, oh, that sounds impressive. And he just like didn't even acknowledge me. I was like, I guess I can't fake it.
Well, that's good, dude. So you only 2 classes. How often are your classes?
Tuesday night, it's for like 12 weeks. And then the Wednesday night one is only 6 weeks long. So I have like 5 more weeks of it.
Okay.
So I'll still have like a month break.
Hired an accountant. Went and hired an accountant.
Did?
Yeah, I did. We were
Okay.
talking about that.
Yeah, you were talking to one last week, right?
Yeah, like, and couple of like things that like, so like I've been told by a lot of people to become incorporated, and like that, like dude, you gotta have an LLC, right? Like, and I feel like a lot of people don't realize that YouTubers and whatnot, because we don't have a lot of overhead. This is the issue with being a YouTuber and content creator, is that you do not have a lot of expenses. So if you have a very good year, I was blessed and had a pretty good year, there is not a lot you can write off. So your tax, like, I took it on the chin, which I knew was going to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, hired an accountant. She was really cool. Very straightforward.
They had another customer.
They had a Twitch streamer, so she was already kind of like understanding of like what costs there are and things like that. I asked her some. She's a chartered accountant, right? So she doesn't mess around. So I was like, listen, I have like my channel is loosely fitness based, because technically it started out like that. Like, it's sleeveless gaming. It's part of my gimmick, right? And I was like, I had an extremely expensive, because before this happened again, I trained last year heavy. Like, I went to a professional trainer. Dude, it was excessive. It was like $400 or $500 a month.
Yeah.
And he trains athletes, but it was like where I don't know, I was bored of just normal training, and And I was like, "Can I write that off?" And she like looked at me like, maybe we'll talk about it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it was nice to have someone that could definitively tell me stuff because I didn't have any of that, right? Like I was just
Mhm.
guessing. So that makes me feel good, and I'll find out in like a couple days like what the damage is. But that just comes with life, and soon I'll be in Florida and won't have to pay state tax.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, whenever we talked last week, I told you that idea for that business, right?
Yep.
Like that I think that's a really good idea.
I told you, dude.
I
When
think it
you were
is, but
saying it, I was like, bro, that literally sounds like the start of someone creating a business. But
yeah, and so I went on I Googled like if that was a specific thing. And there was like one CPA firm I think that said that they work with them.
no one
But
specializes
there
it though.
wasn't yeah, there wasn't like a lot of like you said, like specialization. I can't
Yeah.
talk. What is the word? Specialization.
Specialization.
Yeah, oh my God. Excuse me. So there wasn't a lot of that online, right? And I'm thinking, I think I would have to do it with somebody, but I think it's a good idea, and I think we could like if you're listening to this and you're a full-time streamer and you don't know what you're doing with your finances, reach out to me. I would like to test something, talk to you, see what it's like, see what
I
your
would give
struggles
you my
are.
numbers if you want to try it. It might
Yeah.
not be it. Like, here's the thing. I'll tell you, as a content creator, like YouTuber and or not NHL, a content creator or a Twitch streamer, guys, like you do not get taught. Like, I would be willing to bet there is a scary amount of people that make even like $5,000 a year from Twitch and YouTube that do not claim it on their taxes and have no idea what to do with it. Especially if you're
Yeah, for
Canadian
sure.
and you probably just assume you don't pay tax on it because it's American. I've talked to people that don't even think like that. Think like that. You know. So like Terry O is a perfect example. So Terry O in my chat, this is being recorded live. He actually worked with me at my prior company before I left, and he is
Mhm.
becoming a very popular NHL streamer. And he is. I can see like I notice his sub count, and I know and like I can do the math, and I guarantee you, like if you make like $5,000 to $10,000, it doesn't seem like a lot because it's you don't get a check of it, right? Like your sub count goes up and down throughout the year. It's all spread out. Some months you'll make like 200, some months you'll make 1,000, and at the end of the year, tax time comes and you're like, it's like it's just whatever. You're just it's a hobby. It's like no, dude, like you got to pay tax on that. And
Yeah.
then there's an amount at which you have to make before you can start writing stuff off. And I feel like there's probably streamers who try to write off like buying 4 new monitors because they claim they're a streamer, but you're listed as a hobby until you make a certain benchmark, especially in Canada. And you if you're a content creator, you probably don't have unless you are someone who's numbers oriented and like finance and things like that, you have no interest in it. Like
Yeah.
I just want to be told what to pay. I'm not good with money. My wife handles all of our money. I will literally just buy whatever I want whenever I want. Money means so little to me, which is not a good thing. But like I don't have like I'm just like I can go earn more. I've always been like that.
Mhm.
Even when I wasn't a content creator, like I'd be like if I wanted to go buy something crazy, I'd go buy it and then I would just work 60-hour weeks to make up for it.
I've always felt that way, and I always felt like I'm always gonna stumble into like a random $2,000 or $3,000. Like my wife and I were talking 2 months ago, and we were just like we sometimes like maybe every month or two we like budget out for like our baby or something or whatever it is. Like last year was our wedding. And I was like, oh, we could use another like $2,000. And then you text me the one day, and it's like, oh, do you want to do the shootout tournament? And I was like, oh, yeah, sure. And then you're like the first place prize, like this much money. I'm like, oh, look at that. And I was like, oh, I guess I got to win this thing. And it always seems to happen that way. And I'm
Yeah.
sure you feel the same way with random things in like, your line of work,
Dude, like
right?
I am now about to call the biggest esports event that there is for NHL.
Yeah.
2018. I got knocked in like the third round of the Leafs Gaming League, the first year they did it, and I had 200 viewers, which at the time was absurd. Like I would average 10 to 20, but because there was a tournament on and I was like following along the tournament, the bracket, and showing all the other top end players going and whatnot, and I had 200 people, and I stopped when I got knocked out, and I'm like, I don't want to just raid someone. 200 viewers, this isn't gonna happen again. And so I found Josh streaming, and he had no one watching. Like this was all when we were all the current NHL people were small. This is like the Nuge and Sod era,
Yeah.
and so all the like Grant, all those guys, like they didn't have a following. And I would watch them, and I would just play by play over it. And I did it for like 8 hours. And then the next,
I remember whenever you started this.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then the next week, it was the Washington Capital one, and I did a 12-hour stream. It was the one where where you didn't qualify. You got knocked in the finals or something like that before you did qualify. I can't remember
Okay.
exactly, but I remember that you got lost at the very end, and it was like a very good series. But my voice, I couldn't talk, but that was all I did. I streamed the whole thing, and I was like, hey, maybe I could like do this or whatever, because I knew that I had to find alternative ways to stream and make money if I wanted to be a full-time NHL creator. Because it is. If you become a full-time content creator with NHL, and I'm talking like no YouTube, but just Twitch, like you're an anomaly. You've done something that no one else has done. So I was like, what are the odds that I end up being that? So I was just like, okay, I'm going to do that. And then I flew myself to the 2019 GWC with the purpose of just talking to all of the correct people that were running the tournament. And then I did. I met Chris Gollier. And then the next year I got asked to do like the pregame show with Tactics. The year after that, I got asked to be on the broadcast once, and then this year, I'm the voice. So like, it's it's been good though, and but this when we were talking, I I think that everyone. I will say this: there's something that the way that I've been able to get to like make it a living in content creator with NHL specifically. You have to have some sort of like business instinct. You have to have an instinct of, or not just business, but like intuition of being like, this is a good idea that could parlay into something bigger. I actually have something coming for 23 that I'm in the works of having made. Like, so it'll be, which I'll talk to you off.
Yeah. This is well, you have to end the stream finally, because I kind of missed those talks where it's like, oh, this is going on. This is going on.
Yeah. But no, when we were talking
live,
and I was like, you were like, dude, you're talking about, you should be the tax guy for streamers. I was like, bro, there is thousands of YouTubers and streamers that have no idea what they're doing that you could make an absolute killing on. And you have a knowledge now of what being a content creator is like, and taxes aren't that difficult once you do them once. Like
I would like to do it not even related to taxes, but overall finances in general.
Like just helping them plan their money out better.
Yeah, for sure. Like what does retirement look like if, for this, depending on how things are going for you, like money management, right? Like what are your monthly expenses? Like what are your goals? Like do you have a family? Like are there certain things you need in the future? So I don't know. I don't know what it would be, right?
Yep. I think that would be something that you should definitely look into. Do I want to talk about this on stream? It's kind of exciting, and I like the idea. This is my problem, is that like I feel like I'm going to get burned one time, because whenever I come up with an idea that I think could be game-changing for me, I always like to talk about it. But at some point, I'm going to talk about it and someone's going to do it before, but I won't. So I am, obviously the subathon financially has been pretty incredible for myself. And I don't want to just waste it. I don't want to just like put it into a down payment on a house. Like that would be cool, but I have no interest in owning.
I mean, that's all the money's gone, right?
I don't have any interest in owning a home in the current landscape in Canada. Mm-hmm. So there isn't really a lot to invest in. The only thing I could do is hire like another editor. Like that is really the only overhead that as a content creator I can do.
To actually invest in terms of your stream or
your
content.
Yeah, like I can't really. I already have like my stream setup can't get much better, right?
Yeah.
So what my plan was, how everyone asked me when NHL comes out, which card would I choose?
Yeah.
And I did those who should you choose videos. I've done like 100 and 200 of them in the last couple years. And something that's come to me, or a thought that came to me was, why isn't there just a site or an app where you can go and say, hey, who would you choose between these two cards? And you can access it whenever you wanted. And I think that I was in talks with a really good website developer that I am friends with, and I think that might be an actual thing come 23. So what do you think about that?
Will that just be for NHL, or would that be all games?
It'll be NHL. I would start with NHL. So the database, we will have a database of exactly like HUT IQ and NHL HUT Builder. So I will have to hire people to do that, because I'm not adding cards in every day. And what I will do is I will have a ranking system that is uploaded that I will literally change completely. And it'll start out with one card. So, hey, would you rather have this Miro Heiskanen Master Set player? Would you rather have this Adam Foote Team Builder? And you put that in. There will be a cost to it, probably like $5 Patreon, because I have to fund the website. I was thinking like a $5 fee, like a membership. Or maybe I tie that into Twitch sub. I don't know because it depends on the overhead cost because it's going to cost me a lot of money to build this site. And then people can literally do it. And this is at any time because the issue is when I stream, I get a ton of team builder questions because that's when I'm live, right? And then on my YouTube channel, I had to make a video that people would comment on, but I would get 85 comments in a day, and then the next day I would only get to like 10 in the video, right? So I'm thinking that, and then what it could turn into is full team builds. So you put in your team, and I'm like, and then it'll show like thing will come up in red, being like, I would change this to this, and go from there. But the first year, that is what I think I'm going to launch in 20, and I am speaking with a app developer that to see if it's possible if they were to pull it from the site that I'm going to use, and we'll see how it goes. I don't know. That's my plan to use with the majority of the money from the subathon, though.
That makes sense. I would love to talk to you more about this off
Mhm.
stream.
Yeah. No,
Because it sounds
it's the thing that I'm now about what no one is doing in the NHL. That if you look back at the history of streamers and content creators, they stick to a niche of whatever video game they're in, and eventually people come in and do new stuff and replace them. That is just what happens. You might not go away, but your growth will be stunted. It just stops.
Yeah.
And when you get to the top, there's no more just trying to outwork and whatever. Because like in content creation, you have to be excited. You have to come up with things that make people excited to come back all the time, right? So now it's not like, okay, I need to make more videos. It's like I need to make something that no one else is doing, right? Like no one else is doing this. I need to be the first to do it. This subathon, I'm not the first person to have a subathon, but in the NHL community or among NHL streamers and whatnot, no one has gone 36 days of streaming, right? Like, so that's like something that I try to do like to excessively, right? And I think that like ideas like that, like the who should you choose videos were another thing. Like it was literally like I would just read the comments from the prior video and you guys ask. But then I just made my Discord like so that everyone that could talk, because I don't, there's not enough time in the day for me to answer everyone. That's that was my feeling on, and I don't like making those videos because it's a lot of like me saying the same cards over and over again.
Oh yeah, it's the same video every day, right?
Exactly.
But it's just like instead of this card, it's this card. But it's like there's not a lot of creative freedom in it. It's the same thing.
Exactly. And that gets boring
time.
to me, which will, in the way that I'm delivering the content, will mean that it's going to get boring for. Here's my other thing. This is like my next project, okay? I don't know if I should. Yeah, I don't feel like anyone else is gonna be able to execute this. So, and it's funny because I'm gonna watch the YouTubers and see what they do. So there's a new feature in YouTube that you can now go to as a creator in Studio, and it will show you. It's called Research, and you can type in a search. So let's say NHL 22, right? NHL 22, and it will give you the most searched results for that include NHL 22 around that topic, right? So I type in NHL 22. Did I ask you this on camera last time? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Maybe, but I typed in NHL 22. How many things that were searched prior to NHL Hut came up? Do you think there were? Topics of NHL 22 specifically, not like hockey, like NHL 22.
Yeah, NHL 22 specifically.
Yeah.
How to score.
Yeah, like how high on the list do you think those were?
Pretty high, I would guess.
Give me a number.
Am I wrong? I would say NHL 22 how to score. I would say 3.
Okay. The first Hut NHL search topic when you type in NHL 22 was 8.
Yeah. Okay.
The first 4, dude, you're gonna blow. Be a pro.
Oh, holy shit.
Yeah. So I saw that and I was like, what the hell is this? Then it was franchise mode, and then it was like gameplay. And then it was NHL 22 Hut. And I was like, I haven't made a Be a Pro video.
Yeah, that makes you think like, oh, what do I focus? I
and
mean,
now a lot
me,
of it's driven by
means...
Nasher. A lot of it's driven by Nasher because Nasher does Be a Pro video. And literally one of them is NHL 22 Be a Pro Nasher. Right? Like, but like that, it was astounding to me. So I have an idea, and it is going to be a large undertaking. And it might be something, what I've been scared about in terms of content creation is like, because my channel is basically, it's like live updates. So if I don't upload every day, my numbers take a big hit because the videos I make are like relevant in the now. But then in a week from now, no one cares about cards that came out in October, right? So that video won't be watched. It's basically done. It gets its hits, and that's it. So what that ends up hurting me with is that I don't put a lot of effort into videos that are long form and that take a long time to actually make, like 2 days to make, because I don't have extra time on top of that. So what I want to do is a hybrid franchise mode that has a Be a Pro tagged into it, where like the cutscenes are taken. In the franchise mode, we're following a specific player that I draft, and I clip in the cutscenes. I get the interviews. You know how like the interviews and the cutscenes are all like text to read?
Yeah.
I bring on content creators to actually just say stuff.
Okay.
I even messed around with the idea of using GTA as like an outside of like the game like thing, and I was just like, I got really, really excited about the idea, which makes me happy. It's going to take a long time to execute, and Tyler is going to be busy because that'll basically be all he's doing. But just like, like if I sim a game in franchise mode and I win 4-1, right? Then I control my Be a Pro and make it so I win 4-1 and I have X amount of points. But then I have footage of my guy that I can throw into the franchise mode.
Yeah, because him and the other teammates are going to the strip club in GTA.
Exactly.
After, right? So
exactly. That's why they're tired.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to make it PG because you have to get those
100%.
Sweet Nasher results, right?
Exactly. But like that's like a grandioso view, so I'll probably start off a little bit small on that.
Dude. Terrible idea. You ready for this?
I can't wait.
Yeah, when the Evander Kane stuff was happening, if you have him in your team, you have a cutscene in GTA with him holding the gun. Oh my god, I'm gonna get canceled.
Oh my god, dude.
Oh my god.
Jesus.
Didn't that happen to him? Didn't he have a gun or something?
Dude, he like went to a photo shoot. He went to a photo shoot and like they had a picture of him with a Glock or something, and like it got blown way out of proportion. It ended up not being like what it looked like, but it was just like, on top of everything that was going on, it was like, good lord. But no, like I think that like story driven stuff is just completely gone outside of Nasher, right? Franchise mode is you sim, you make trades, and that's it. You're looking at menus. I want to put in cutscenes that are like legit. So what is NHL 22 packs alert? One NHL player pack and one X Factor choice pack are available now to be redeemed by all players. Subscribe to EA Play. It is May.
Yeah, they're trying to compete with
Where were you 6 months? I can't. Anyways,
I don't even know what you get in an NHL players pack.
It's probably like 4. It's probably like 10 cards, two 80 plus overall cards, and an X Factor choice pack. Dude, that would have been a banger bonus back when you launched the game.
Yeah.
Dude, I love the comments, dude. X Factor pack in May. Anyways, let's go to our top 5, though. I'm ready for our top 5. Top 5 cartoons. Yeah.
Top 5 cartoons as a kid, right?
As a kid. So we're determining 10 and under?
Around that.
12, 11 or 12 and under.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So I'll start it off. You started it off last week, I believe.
Okay.
So my number, this is no order for me.
Oh, mine's in order.
Yeah, I'll do it in order.
Yeah.
I'll do it in order. Number 5, Dexter's Lab.
Okay. It's fun. So I need to preface this by saying, guys, I'm 32. Keso is about to turn 30 this year.
Next April.
Next April. So there is a 3-year gap, and what's hilarious is that when we were doing this, like before we started, you are going to distinctly be able to tell the age gap with mine compared to his, because I have a feeling yours are going to be ones that I was not interested in because I wasn't a kid anymore. So I did watch Dexter's Lab, and I respect it. I can just tell how your list is going to go. My number 5, again, these are going to be very different. This is very tough. I wanted to say Metabots, but it was only one season. I was obsessed with it, but it didn't last long enough. Beyblade is my number 5. I loved Beyblades.
I did not get into that. I remember people had like the little kit that they would play with, right?
Yep. It was already probably over by the time that you became old enough to like play with them. But the show was actually sick.
I had a good friend that was into it.
Yep.
That he had like one of those things.
Yep.
I never got into it.
Yep. I was it was sick. I loved the show specifically. I thought it was really cool. And it was long, but then they always get like in the future seasons, they go to space or like do some like stupid stuff, and it gets all out. Yeah, but Beyblade is my number 5.
Okay, Number 4, I'm gonna go Rocket Power.
Never watched it, I
Great
don't
show.
think.
Dude, I loved it because they had like some cool cameos from celebrities and stuff, but it was one of the few cartoons that like they would play street hockey in, right?
Okay.
And it was cool to see that in a cartoon because like hockey doesn't get on anything here, right? I
That's
mean, I know
true,
in
yeah.
Canada it's like the biggest thing, but
Yep.
like in the United States, it's like football and baseball.
No, you're right on that. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
My number 4 is Pokemon. It came out when I was 7 years old. It was literally made for me and my generation.
Yeah.
The first season's like 100 episodes. I remember being devastated when I couldn't. This is before you could stream it, guys. So you would literally have to just wait a week for the next episode to be released. And dude, I remember trying to watch that. Like that show was I still play Pokemon to this day. So that's an easy. That's number 4 for me.
Dude, how about how long that first season is though, all the way to Indigo
It's
Road?
long, man. People don't realize how long it is.
Yeah. And dude, it's cool in that show. I think you can see who's the legendary Pokemon in Silver and Gold. Is
Oh,
it
it's Ho-Oh. It's
Ho-Oh?
in the first episode.
Yeah, and he's in the first
And
episode.
Gold isn't even released for like another like 2-3 years. But something else that's cool. It's like it follows the game so closely. I don't watch any.
Mhm.
I haven't watched anything after that. I maybe watched Johto like the gold and silver region. I maybe watched that like I can't remember it really, but I remember watching the first season. It was so close to the game where you would go to he's going to each of the gyms and whatnot. It's very close. Like, even when you get like when he gets like Aerodactyl, gets attacked by Aerodactyl, like that's usually in the game when you could like get the fossil and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing the movie in theaters, and the one ending of one of the movies is it's like it has like Donphan, who's like one of the new Pokemon in Johto and or Silver and Gold. And I remember being like, that is the coolest looking, like it was like the next unreleased Gold.
That was
Silver.
like that rock elephant type thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Like that it had the move rollout.
Yeah, and
Right?
move roll
Yeah.
up, man. It's like it's still one of my favorite Pokemon. Like I just did a tier list, and he was up there. But yeah, so Pokemon is my number 4.
Okay. That could be number 1 on a lot of those.
It could be,
So
yeah.
number 3 is the last of the classic cartoons, I would say. Scooby-Doo.
Okay.
The original run. I used to watch that all the time. Dude, we actually watched some Scooby-Doo because it's on HBO Max, I believe. We put it on one night because we were like tired. And we're like, this is probably easy to fall asleep to. And it's amazing how many classic episodes there are of Scooby-Doo.
Dude, so me and my wife just did that with a completely different show. So I'm sure there's a lot of guys in the chat that could not admit it at the time, just given the era. But dude, Sailor Moon. I really liked Sailor Moon when I was a kid for some reason, but I couldn't admit that like I watched it. I didn't watch it a
Yeah, of
lot, but like
course.
when it was on, I wouldn't turn it. And dude, that show might have been one of the worst shows ever made. So we watched it. We watched like the first like episode, and I was like, "How did this make it as far as it did?" It was
Is it that bad? I
it's
never watched
god
it.
awful. It is god awful. But
Huh.
yeah, but it just reminded me when you said Scooby Doo. So
Yeah.
my number 3 is the only one that's this is the show I probably watched more than anything when I was a kid. Put the most hours into, and that's Arthur.
Okay.
That is like
Did you see they just ended the show?
I cannot believe it was still on.
Yeah,
I
didn't know
could
it was
not
on
believe it
either.
because it was like Arthur was like the Seinfeld for kids. Like that's legitimately what it was. It was 20 minutes and you watch it like 5 times a day, and it was like I loved that show. I watched like every episode of it up until when I was like 10 or 11. Then it was like weird to like it. So
Yeah, yeah, dude. There was this guy in the NHL community named Bob Richards. You might have heard of him.
mm-hmm.
But he used to watch Arthur every single day up until his like 20s. I was like, what in the world?
What in the world?
Yeah, isn't that
That's
funny?
all right. That's a weird guilty pleasure.
Yeah, yeah. My number 2, Dragon Ball Z. Dude, it's the GOAT show. Almost. It would be on every single day. I think at like 6 o'clock. And I made sure to watch it. There were like, it's just. Did you watch Dragon Ball Z?
Okay, so I did not. I had
Oh.
friends who were obsessed with it. I did like I know I ended up going through a phase where I like bought the game, and I was like,
Mhm.
I'm learning this. Like the issue with Dragon Ball Z was it was again back. I'm a little bit older, so like it was in the era where there was just no access. So if you missed 3 episodes and try to pick up what was going on, there was no way to do that. There was no
Yeah.
way to find out what happened. So like I became really disinterested, really, because I remember trying to pick it up. I remember when Dragon Ball Z, when it was like when Gohan was older, when they tried to come up with like Dragon Ball.
GT they had.
GT, I watched from the start and it was awful. It
Yeah,
was
that one wasn't made by the original
no.
people. I think that's why.
And Dragon Ball Budokai 2 GOAT game, SAP Alien Chat, 100%. So like that game came out
Yeah.
and I was like, okay, I'm all in. And there was just no access. And it frustrated me and I just stopped. Like I remember why I got the first season, my buddy had it on DVD. Like when you had to have full seasons on DVD to watch something. And I watched the first season, but it just became too difficult to try because like, dude, like, you know, like Goku's charging up like Spirit Bomb for like 4 episodes and you're like, what happened?
Dude, oh god. It's yeah, 3 episodes
Yeah.
for the Frieza saga where he's charging up that spirit bomb.
Yep. Like it's an
Yeah.
incredible show, and I wish I would have watched it more. I really do. I just couldn't. It just did not. It was never. I couldn't. I could never keep up with it. So,
Yeah.
my number 2. Yeah,
Number 2.
my number 2. Yu-Gi-Oh. It's probably
Okay.
this. Again, it came out. Yu-Gi-Oh came out when I was 10, and I was obsessed with the card game. Like obsessed with it. Like more than the Pokemon trading card game, because the Pokemon trading card game, for anyone that doesn't know this, when it first came out, again, I was 7, so like it was literally made for me, and like my age group. And you didn't battle with them. It was too
No,
confusing.
it was too confusing.
It was too confusing for a kid to try and actually play the game correctly. So you would just collect them. Yu-Gi-Oh was the first game where like it made sense and like the card art was sick, the stuff used was awesome, and the show was good. Like it was very interesting throughout the whole way of it. And I remember again the first season of it is so long. I don't know how shows did that, but it was like over 100 episodes too the first season, and I remember like just like loving it. And again, it was another show that like I would watch at like a 5 p.m. on YTV like every single day. Like
Yeah.
have, like, but yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh show was one of the goats. It's my number 2.
Dude, I remember everybody in like 4th or 5th grade was just playing Yu-Gi-Oh
That's
every day
it,
at
man.
school. It was the
Yep.
best thing. And then watching the show, you would see like,
Like
maybe
Blue
a
Eyes
new
White
card
Dragon
come
and like
out.
stuff like that.
Yeah,
One
yeah,
of
and then you could follow along with like the cards as they would
Yep.
release them.
One of my
Yeah.
favorite moments as a kid. Went to 7-Eleven. When my parents first got divorced, they went through that phase where they just buy me everything because they felt bad
Yeah.
for me, and I was just like, "Wee, like 2 rooms, like 2 stuff, like you know what I mean." So my mom would give me like $20 like to go buy Pokemon cards, or Yu-Gi-Oh cards like every week. And I remember going to 7-Eleven with my buddies, and I bought a random pack of like the first, I think they were called Metal Colossus or something. It was the very first series, and I remember pulling a Red Eyes Black Dragon. And it's not nearly as powerful as like Blue Eyes was in the show or Dark Magician, but the card was so rare. And this is like pre-consumer internet, like 2000 and 2001. This is before like everyone had a computer and it was normal, so you did not have access to social media and to like so like, pulling that card, and because it's like so famous on the show, I was like, this is the sickest thing ever. And I will never forget like running to my buddy's house, be like, look what I pulled. Oh my God.
Yeah. Dark Magician, I forgot about that card.
Dark
That's a pretty sick
Magician.
card. Yeah. All right. My number 1, I think it's the best cartoon of all time, even as an adult. Batman the Animated Series. I don't know if you watched it as a kid. It started, I think, around 1992. And I think it's one of the few like kids cartoons that can be enjoyed as an adult. A lot of like mature themes, I guess. Perfect representation of Batman. I'm a huge Batman fan. And I still watch it as an adult every now and then.
I hate superhero movies. Just don't like them. I think it's because they're not. I know that they can't be real. Like they're like, I can't get on the.
Well, that's the
premise
thing
of it.
about Batman, right? He can be real.
Technically, it could be. Yeah, I guess. But like, there's parts of them that make no sense. But yeah, I guess like Batman would be the closest one too. But yeah, I just never found it interesting. I don't know why. Like even Spider-Man didn't like enjoy. And again, like I was a kid during when Spider-Man like blew up. Like Tobey Maguire, I was like 10 when that came out. Like, so I get the reasoning behind it though. Like that makes sense. I'm trying to think of like. There's ones I left off the list before I give my number 1. I feel like everyone can probably guess given my list already. But like Bugs Bunny, my grandma, who was like my best friend, loved Bugs Bunny, and anytime I stayed with her a lot when my dad would have to travel for work, my mom, they both worked a lot, and we would just watch hours of Bugs Bunny, and it was so dumb, and I loved it. Like so, like that show could be up there, but it didn't hit the same. It's more of like a good, nice memory for me than an actual good show. But my number 1 is the first season of Digimon, and it is that is goated. Like if I you never watched the first season of Digimon?
Never got into it. I was always Pokemon, and in my school in like second grade, it was like one or the other, and everybody was
That's
Pokemon.
so sad. I
Yeah,
understand that. Like Digimon cards were scuffed. Like if you collected Digimon cards, you were a loser. So I
they
get
look
that. But
cheaper too.
oh yeah, the show though, and the first video game on PlayStation, because you got to remember that Pokemon was only one game. Like there was like Pokemon Snap or all the or like the Tetris game, and like like just no, like those aren't the same. Like the first Digimon game was like an RPG on PlayStation 1, and you
Mhm.
build a city, and it is one of the most difficult, fun games that you can play. And but man, the first season of Digimon, like I remember being pissed off that I had to go and play like travel baseball because I couldn't at Saturday morning watch like what would happen with like Piedmon and like Metal Garurumon. They were having this like epic battle, and I couldn't watch the finish of it. Like, oh, that was tough. But
I
Digimon,
still don't even know what Digimon's about.
the brief synopsis is these kids get trapped in like a digital world,
Okay.
um, and they all these 8 like chosen ones get like these like, oh my god, these like watches, I guess would be like, and they all end up getting a Digimon like tied to them, and they don't become the Digimon, like they're like it's like same thing as Pokemon, but like they digivolve into like crazier things, and there's villains all over this island. So they land on this island, digital island, and there's like all these like natural habitat Digimon are like being attacked by like dark evil ones, and they
Yeah.
basically all of them have to like go and like so there's the battles of them are really cool. Like I will say that like the actual battles of them were sick.
I
But
mean, it has to be good because you have it over Pokemon, right?
yep,
So,
yep. The show specifically, the overarching thing, Pokemon beats anything. But
yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see in the comments like what. There's a couple that we left off, like Recess, was good.
I went to see that. I remember seeing that movie as a kid
Yep.
because I think they had one come out in theaters. I was never into the show that much
I remember Bobby's
myself.
World when I was really young. I don't know if you knew Bobby's World because
I don't know
it's
that
too
one.
young for you. But there's gonna be
Yeah.
comments be like, "Dude, Bobby's World." I know it, but all right, that's not bad. To get to, what's our next week's top 5? Let's get the juices
Um,
flowing
yeah.
early.
What are our next week's top five? I like this cartoon one. That was a great
I
idea
think
by
that was a good
myself.
one.
Yeah. We've done TV and movies. I was also floating the idea of favorite sports teams of a specific year that aren't your favorite team.
Oh,
So
interesting.
like I like that one because I would have like I can't do the Steelers, I can't do the Penguins, right? And I'd probably limit it to hockey and football.
Hmm.
Oh, somebody has top five celebrity crushes
That's a
too.
great
And top
one. I'm on board with
oh
that
that
one.
top five celebrity
Top
crushes in the
5.
year that you had them too, because there's different times. Like
Absolutely.
whenever I was a kid, it was like Britney Spears, you
Yep.
know?
Yep. No, top 5 celebrity crushes. Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah,
Yep. That's next
yeah.
week's. I do like your idea of your sports one though. So
We'll table that discussion.
100%. All right, guys. That is going to do it for episode 32 of Coffee and Chel. We did not talk a lot of Chel, but that's
We talked
okay.
for 10 minutes.
That's true. We got the mandatory 10 minutes in. You're right.
Yeah,
All
dude,
right.
this is good. Dude, 32 episodes, 32 weeks in a row.
We're almost 50. We're almost old. We're
Yeah,
my
by
age.
the
We're older than me.
yeah, by the time we get to we're 5 months out from NHL.
Oh my God, dude. That seems
Is that what it
so.
is?
Oh my God.
So that's like episode 56 or 57. So we'll
Hmm.
have a year under our belts. At
Dude,
some
we're going to
point, we
cross
probably
100.
100 episodes.
Can you imagine?
I mean, if we do NHL 23 all the way, right? We're
Yeah.
gonna, yeah. Dude, I always feel like there's this shelf life on my hobby here. So who knows when I'll reach that? But
Never. Until you stop having
we'll see.
fun.
I know, right? This is like I said, this is the only thing I do right now for content, so I'm having fun.
Let's go. All right, guys. Thank you for listening. We'll be back next week, and we'll see you then. Have a good one, guys.